Judge Andrew Napolitano, Fox News senior judicial analyst. So does the Mulvaney appointment by President Trump, is it on solid ground?
I'll tell you the ground it's on. We have two conflicting statutes. President Trump relies on a 1998 statute, which says when there's a vacancy at the head of an administrative agency, the president appoints an acting director until he nominates and the Senate confirms a full-time director. But the CFPB, which is this particular agency, which was enacted by Congress in 2010, says when there's a vacancy in the position of director, the deputy director becomes director. So you have two statutes that are clashing, which is why the court will decide which one prevails. Normally, when two statutes disagree, and they're written by the same body, the Congress, the court decides that the more recent one is the one that would follow. That's the one that backs Mrs. English, not the one that backs the president, because Congress was aware of the old one and decided to leapfrog over them. So the English argument, the Obama argument is, this agency was intended to be immune from politics. It was intended to regulate the economy and not even be answerable to Congress, because it's not even paid by Congress. It's paid by the Federal Reserve. Donald Trump's argument is, wait a minute, in a representative democracy, how can there be some entity in the government that nobody can control? Exactly. Congress can't control the money that's going to it.
I mean, that raises the question whether or not the Consumer Financial Protection Board is constitutional in and of itself.
It does. There's no question that Congress wrote it this way in order to frustrate whoever was going to be President Obama's successor. The question is this recognizable under the Constitution? That has not yet been ruled on.
Cordray appointed her his deputy on his way out the door.
Yes.
I mean, he stuck her in that slot in order to allow that statute to hold up. Whether or not that's going to work,
so this is not forever. The president could nominate a full-time director tomorrow. He could nominate Mick Mulvaney tomorrow. Then it's up to Mitch McConnell and the Republicans in the Senate how quickly they approve that person.
All right. So in terms of where this goes from here, he said basically he would love to he's going to put a freeze on all of the activity. So, some people watch this and they say, consumer protection, I mean, that sounds like a pretty good thing. So why would we want to get rid of that?
Let me tell you some things that are happening. Banco Santander was ordered to turn over $70 million to this agency as some sort of a fine for some sort of a financial shenanigan. Mick Mulvaney says, stop. Don't turn any money over to anybody. I'm going to relook at everything Mr. Cordray, who just left after 4 years there, has done. So there's a lot of these irons in the fire where a lot of money is moving around. And Mulvaney says, hold off. Nothing's happening here till I get a handle.
I mean, I go back to what Mick Mulvaney said. He said, by the way, I'm learning about the powers that I have as acting director, and they would frighten most of you. In other words, so this, sort of free-flowing, free-form government agency can basically say to a company, you know what, I just decided you owe us $70 million.
And that money doesn't go to the people that we think you defrauded. It goes into the federal treasury.
And where does it go from there?
However Congress wants to spend it. Look, in one respect, I'm glad there's this litigation, because the public needs to know the type of constitutional oddball that this entity is and the powers that it has. We may get a decision tonight. There's a federal judge in Washington, D.C. who's receiving briefs as we speak.
We love that those federal judges work late.
Yes, they do.
Thank you very much, Judge. Good to see you tonight.
Pleasure.